Hey, welcome to How to Build Your Own Home. This is a piece of advice to all fathers and mothers that have a business and they're looking to teach their children and hand the business off to their children. Can you let go? Can you let your children run with something and you just have hands off? That's a real hard thing for parents, especially when they spent a lot of years building a business. So this is my daughter's first build under Kelsch Construction. It's a spec build. She's having a lot of fun. I'm just going to walk you through it, tell you something about it. But again, she's running this project. I wish she was here, but she's pregnant right now. And it's a tough pregnancy because she has to, it's not easy, but she handles it phenomenally well. So Kinzie, I wish you were here. This is her home, and her husband are managing this project. Parker's now on board with Kelsch Construction. He's working with Kelsch Construction. We're excited to have them both on board. But this is a project they're running, all right? And you'll find that your kids make choices that are different than yours. They're just as good, just as effective, and you have to allow for that to happen. I don't care if it's a restaurant or a farm or whatever it may be. Your kids are going to make different choices than you, and you have to allow for that. Like, for example, my daughter loves to put stucco on the softened fascia. I don't like that. I'm an old school guy. I love my aluminum on my softened fascia because it's less maintenance. But that's her choice. That's okay. Plus, it's pretty much the style what a lot of other builders do. And it does save time here and there. You'll notice the roof is not done. That's because they have to get that softened fascia done with the stucco that comes up underneath and over to the fascia part of the eave of the roof. I typically like aluminum because I can kind of schedule things a little differently. And a lot of things are about scheduling if you think about it. Let's just do it all this and it saves time. I don't have to have another subcontractor, plus I can get it done, but it does delay something else. You're constantly weighing those factors when it comes to building a home, especially after building several homes over a period of many decades. You just see labor costs, time costs, quality time costs, and you're weighing those things all the time. So let's take a look at the home that my daughter's building under Kelsch Construction, and I am letting go, and I'm very pleased with what she's doing. Kinzie and Parker, you're doing a great job. I always like to make my garages bigger, or as big as I possibly can, and sometimes you have to push and shove with clients. Now we want more home, less garage, and it's kind of a hard thing. And most of the times when I build a home, clients wish that they would have made the garage a little bigger. Well, my daughter went real big, so this is an RV garage with additional storage over here, but it's not just storage. This garage here can have a side-by-side right here, or a couple quads if they wanted to, and fit right easy into the garage. Parker, my son-in-law, is a race drag racer, so a garage is like his forte. Having garage space is really important with him. And we did the same with the double car garage over here. It's not just an RV garage, but we got two garages. Let's check out this one over here. So we have a walkway from the RV garage into a double car garage. And one of the things to think about on home, which I think is very great with what my daughter did, is there's a bay window over there. So when you look at the home, you don't see that there's a garage there. It looks like it's living space. And this garage is entered from the side. It's not entered directly from the street. That really is a nice appeal on a home. Plus, she has an additional, looks like it's 2 feet plus another foot of the bay window. So when you pull into the garage, your car door is not going to bang on the door or on the wall. Plus, looks like we have about 7 to almost 9 to 10 feet right here, a distance from the garage door over to here. So plenty of room to come in, and they have big trucks. Plus the depth of the garage is plus 22 feet. So that gives you the opportunity to pull in a big truck in here. A lot of times people don't factor that in. And even a lot of designers don't know the length of a truck. A typical truck is at least 22 feet plus, and they can go up to 23 feet, especially with a hitch. So factoring that in made the garage a little bigger so it can accommodate for some of those things. Also, the garage door is at least 72 inches plus. Most trucks that have about a 2-inch lift, that truck cab can get up to about 72 inches. So if you have another foot above that, even if you have a little bit of a lift coming inside here, you're not going to bang or scratch or anything like that. You're going to have plenty of room, unless you're like a monster truck and you've got, these monster wheels. You're not going to get in here. But most trucks with a lift, you'll be able to get into this garage. So good job on the garages. And if you're interested in this plan, reach out to us. We can give you some insight on this. And our architect, Lonnie, designed this. So if you want, let us know. We can actually put that on our website at How to Build Your Own Home. and this could be another option. We're actually starting to upload more pictures and more plans right now. The next one coming on board, how to build your own home, is the legacy house, and that's the house with the 2 ADUs. We're going to be putting that up in the next couple of weeks, but if you like this plan, let us know. We can put it up there as well. Okay, one other thing, in my company, we do tankless water heaters. We have gas, natural gas, which is plentiful here in our state, and it's very affordable. And so we do have vented concentric air ventilation for a tankless water system, which means on-demand water, constant hot water. And if you have a sore back and you want to sit in that shower and get all that heat on there, and for a long period of time, you're going to have endless hot water. So she's maintaining that, plus we're holding PSI strength on our gas, so everything looks good here. We have here a sub panel, and a lot of homes don't do this. They have what's called a meter panel on the outside, and all the wires and breakers are just routed to the outside. That's called a track home situation. And I don't put my sub panel with all the breakers on the outside of the home, especially in humid environments, and they rust and they don't last very long. I always bring my sub panel inside the home. But where do you put that? Typically, you want to put it in a mechanical room, or in this case, this is a laundry here, and you want to put it behind the door. So if the door's a left-hand door, the door is going to open up this way, and your panel should be behind that door. Typically, by code, they don't want anything obstructing it. For example, if you put this on a wall here, and there's cabinetry in the way and all that, that's really kind of affecting the code violation in a lot of jurisdictions. So I always try to put my sub panel behind the door. That way you open the door and close it, and you have complete access to that panel. So again, these are things your kids pick up. It's amazing. They pick up on this stuff, and they just learn it by osmosis when they learn to build with you and work with your business. So your kids learn more than you know. So trust in that. This here is an open living concept. Again, it's very popular with designs right now, not partitioning your walls off like they did in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So she's really taking advantage of that. This is going to be the kitchen area, dining area over here. And of course, you got a fireplace with some a vaulted situation, but not so high that it makes it difficult and costly, but it's low enough with a simple scaffolding they can get up there. And our carpenter is going to do some beam work in here. When we're finished with this job, we'll give you a grand tour. But right now, it's looking great what she's done. My daughter took a lot of time designing this, and we went back and forth on a couple of things. One of the things we went back and forth on was the upstairs. Let's go take a look. Okay, one of the things that my daughter has learned, and she's done a phenomenal job at this, is when there's an upstairs, can we throw in attic trusses to control costs, create space, without it being obnoxious. And oftentimes we do a full second story on homes, and it pushes the home so high up that it looks a little larger than it needs to be, okay? Here with attic trusses, you can see there's an attic truss here, and there's another one over here, and that actually brings the roof closer to the second floor, allowing for less exterior stucco requirement, and then controlling costs at the same time. A real good example is in here. This here's a room with attic trusses. Now, I've talked a lot about attic trusses before, but my daughter pushed it much higher than I normally do. I usually do about a 5-foot heel height. She went to a full 6+, looks like it's almost 6'3" heel height. That created a lot more airy space, a lot more open, but it's still an attic truss. Inside this truss, if this is a stud here and this stud here, you could cut this open, create all kinds of storage space inside there, and you'd see a big open cavity. And again, we put all the insulation on the outside of the cavity, not inside this wall. So I didn't get any video on that, but she did it right. So I was very, very pleased with that. But again, attic trusses, utilizing that as an opportunity. And you can see it in this room over here. A plane coming down there, not trying to push the house so high up that you actually have a truss here. We do have the proper clearance for headroom and all that for a shower. So it worked out great. Using the roof system as part of the envelope, side wall envelope of the home. If that makes any sense to you, it's cheaper to do a roof, okay, than it is to do stucco or siding or rock or anything. And if you can utilize the roof and drop it down just a little bit, you can lower your costs on your outside. So in a lot of ways, she's done a great job of that here on this home. Just we'll end here on the front porch of the house. She did create a porch One thing I always like is some sort of a porch. I don't care how small or how big. That's the meeting place between community and private living. And if you have some sort of a covering for a porch, that's great. Plus, we even have a little larger porch, and she's going to incorporate rock and wood, which are natural elements. And I'm more of an earthy person. So is my daughter. We're not so very contemporary, but we do like to have a contemporary look, bringing some of those natural elements to it. So she went and went some big beams here that I've never built that big before. And so she went really bold there, and it was kind of exciting to see that happen. And she says, Dad, you need to go check the house. Why? I go, because I got some wood up front. You need to go check it out. So I did, and she's got some corbel supports there, and it's an overkill for the structure needed, but it's actually going to be stunning and beautiful. So I'm excited to see how it all comes out. In a couple months, probably about 2 months, we'll come back to this job site and check it out. This is an actual listing, a spec home that Kelsch Construction is doing. You can check that listing down below and then watch it as it gets completed over the next 2-3 months, probably about 2.5 months. And check it out. And this, again, run by my daughter and my son-in-law, Kinzie and Parker. You guys are doing a great job, and I'm happy to let go.